playing on our downfall. And with the subject we're covering this week, they're really going to be trying to censor us. Welcome to the show, everybody. See, I'm paying nobody, so we're going to start even our possibly most serious episode ever with a joke.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Oh, how's everyone's week doing?
It's doing.
It's going.
Just can't believe you started.
Yeah, I know.
It is going. We are all surviving.
It's going good. We got double episode today. We're going to be covering Belly's 96 Miles from Bethlehem, as well as
the most important album that's going to come out this year.
Almost certainly. And also doing our little preview of Summer Smash. We have one more episode between this and our Summer Smash episode, but this is going to be going live the week before. We just wanted to get ahead of that wave because this is content. Anyway.
It's going to be very chaotic the next couple of weeks. So,
how's everyone doing? Let's do a roll call. Let's start with the first J name. Jasper, how are you?
Doing all right. You know, work's a little busy at the Brown Bank lately, but we are surviving.
Gotta oppress those pores somehow. Gotta go all the way to the interest rate bank.
I might be surviving a little better than Purvis is, but you know, it is neither here nor there.
Yeah. Other J name, Jeff? Holding in there?
Hanging in there.
Just hanging in there?
Just hunting for a job.
Hunting for a job. It sucks, dude. It's the worst.
The worst.
It's not a good job market at all.
Dude, and Purvis, the not J person.
The other Brown Bank employee. Going through hell, but we're going through it, and there's nothing else I can say about it because I have to.
Nothing else I can say about it. Well, we got a lot of news and we got a lot of stuff to talk about this week. So do we just want to get rolling straight into it right now?
Absolutely. I will start us off. Honestly, what you said the other day over Instagram is the most accurate description I can think of. It is the flood. It is right before summer, and everyone is getting content out.
Dude, it is insane. All the stuff that's coming out. Holy shit.
It is crazy. Just this week, you have the return of K-Tronada. He'll be dropping Timeless. He has a lot of big features coming out of that album. One of them that's already been teased is Childish Gambino.
That'll be good. That'll be a good summer album. It's K-Tronada.
Yes. I've heard there was a music video snippet that sounded amazing. And then doing one of his concerts recently, he was previewing the Childish one, and that sounded really good as well. We have the return. It's a very long break. We have Ski Master Slump God.
Oh yeah, love Ski Master.
11th Dimension. Did you ever do your deep dive?
I've listened to a little bit, but no, I've not done the proper deep dive. But I've listened to more than I had at a point.
Okay.
He just has bars. He has bars, and I appreciate that.
He has bars. Honestly, and there's not a lot of the SoundCloud era like him around, to be honest.
No, yeah.
He's kind of the last one.
Yeah, he kind of is the last. A lot of them
have Trippy Red.
Yeah.
I guess.
A lot of them did. True. Well, a lot of them have passed, and a lot of them have just transitioned to other sounds, right?
Right. Very true.
I saw him at the Lyrical Tenure and at Juice WRLD Day, and he did tributes to X and Juice WRLD at both. So he's definitely an endangered species at this point.
Yeah.
It is funny that you say that because they will both be having features on this album.
Yeah.
When I first found out, I'm not gonna lie, I am still in that boat where
no, it's
kind of dragging it. But I thought about it some more. It's Ski Mask. If anyone that has a right to have features from these people,
agreed.
I just think it's no one though. I think it is no one.
It should be no one. Yes,
it is. That's why it's I don't know. I still think it's sussy. I don't like it.
Oh yeah, I don't like it either. But it's a pass I'm giving them.
yeah, it's definitely better than other examples for sure. But I don't know. It still rubs me the wrong way.
I get that.
It just screams of just disrespect to the people's legacy.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, I should ask then, Jeff, because you weren't a part of it. We had a whole episode dedicated to posthumous albums and things of that nature. Do you have any commentary on that? And what are your thoughts on
that? Depends on the artist, I'd have to say. It would really have to depend on who it is, because if you bring any old Tupac or Biggie, and at this point, I'm just kind of against that. But you have AI also, so that doesn't help.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
No, I get
And
that.
like, I don't think it can never be done. I think like if there's a certain amount of the thing is it kind of has to become like several people's full-time job to like monitor someone's legacy, right? And like look,
Hmm.
the Mac Miller estate has done a pretty good job of it, and he still has an album coming out this year with Madlib.
Yes.
So,
Very
like it's not I don't think it's like a hard and fast like line in the sand. But I think like when you have people who have at this point has had almost more music put out after their passing than before, then it does kind of become there's no more exceptions here. Like this is something that needs to end.
I agree, for sure. All right, well, going on to some of the other stuff coming out, we have 2 more albums coming out this week, or larger albums, I should say.
Yeah.
Tim's had a performance this week. I don't know if you guys saw. She is officially on Tiny Desk.
Yeah, it was very good. I didn't watch it.
very
I've seen like snippets, but it was very good.
Yes,
Thames is
Ford
great.
and Phone- Oh,
Yeah.
she's great. Absolutely. I didn't realize it was like a lead up into the album that's coming out tonight. Born in the Wild. So I'm very excited for that. I think it'll be a really dope sound. And then we also have much older artists. We have The Game coming out with the album Time. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of features is going to be on that, because I'm assuming it's going to be a lot of older people.
That is going to be interesting.
Didn't he say his last album was going to be the last one he made?
And the one before that.
That's like every artist, though.
Yeah,
They can't
that's
stay
all
away.
of them. And that's not even
Especially
just
the
a
older
music
one.
thing. That's not even just a music thing, But yeah,
Tarantino's been talking about that shit for a while.
100% is Tarantino is one of the ones I was thinking about.
Yeah.
It happens all the time in every sector. But yes,
No.
I stopped paying attention to him.
yeah,
There was one album recently. I actually took time to go through it, and like there's a couple good songs, but nothing stand out. You're right. It was okay. But let's go into the singles. We have a ton of singles, so I'm just gonna kind of start rapid firing. Jump in where you can. We have Bia coming out with a song with Jid. The song will be called Lights Out. Very excited for that.
that's interesting.
I don't know if he'll be a part of Jid's album, but Jid did confirm that after his tour is over, he will be releasing this summer.
Insane.
We also have Smino coming out with, I don't know how to say this, I always say it wrong.
Polynesian.
Yeah, isn't it like a sauce at like McDonald's? It's like what he was like.
It's
promoting or
a
something.
series of islands. It's a region
it's
of
a-
the world.
Ethnicity of people.
Yeah.
Never mind, man. No, I like doing throughout the promotion. It was like a sauce thing. Well, I guess it's Smino. He has
They
a lot
call
of
it
sauce.
Polynesian. Yeah, it's very common, but no, it's like The Rock is Polynesian.
Okay, fair. I don't even know where that is in the world. So
It's islands. They're
It's
islands.
actually next to Mononesia.
I see.
That was a good one. That was a good bit.
We haven't had a pun in a while from Jasper.
And it was a good one.
It was
I
a
tell you,
good
you
one.
reduce the quantity, you get good quality. So I'm into that.
You start to appreciate it a little bit more.
We do our best.
Yeah, no, it was pretty good.
Fair enough. Anyway, we have Denzel Curry. I believe the song's already out.
Hot One?
He's dropping Hot One, and I believe ASAP Ferg in. Ah, crap. There's a female rapper on there. Now I feel bad. God damn it. I'm trying to remember who was the other feature.
Yeah, because his album has like a feature on every song.
There's a lot of features. Tia Corinne. Tia Corinne and ASAP Ferg will be featured on that song. We have Larry June coming out with Dreams. We have Megan Thee Stallion, Flo Milli, and Lotto coming out with Sunday Service remix. Very excited for that. We have Sofego coming out with Life is So Crazy. We have Ravina and JPEG Mafia, the return of JPEG after
Scaring the Hose. Yeah, it's
I
been a
was gonna
minute.
say it's been nothing since Scaring the Hose, I
Yeah,
believe.
since the best album of 2023. You're right.
All right, whatever. They will be dropping Junebug. We have Cash Cobain again. His name is just popping up
Everywhere. Every week it seems to be
Crazy.
talking about him.
literally. He's coming out with Rump Punch. We have the return of Redville. It's been a while for him. He's coming out with Ruland Freestyle, and then Dolce. When is she gonna drop an album? Hopefully soon. She'll be dropping a single tonight called Genesis, and then we have a crazy throwback. We have Pitbull,
Whoa, this
Neo,
3?
and Afrojack.
That's
coming out once
nuts.
to the moon.
That's a trinity.
Take me back to the early 2000s, or maybe even later, to be honest. We have Zakari coming out with Destiny, and then I threw this in for you, Brandon. Swedish House or Mafia House?
Swedish House Mafia.
Swedish
Yeah,
House
you had
Mafia.
Swedish House
Swedish
music.
House Mafia.
Classic.
Which, by the way, I like Swedish House Mafia. They're very clear. They're legends in this space. Not the kind of house music I like.
Okay, fair
Don't
enough.
you worry, child.
Yeah,
One day there'll be a place for you.
yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
they make very, very good music, but like house music changed a lot when it went to Europe,
Yeah.
and it's just I much prefer the Chicago, Detroit kind of style of house music.
It's like if Eurobeat or like Euro Disco did the take on house music.
It's yeah, and you know the difference is kind of like almost like the difference between something like G Funk and the West Coast hip hop sound and grime. You know, like yeah, they're certainly like in conversation with each other. Those artists, you know,
Feed off each other.
yeah, saying they're the same genre is far from crazy, but like they're also very much removed.
Makes sense,
Yeah.
especially when you dive into it.
But I will be listening to this because I do listen to Swedish House Mafia. So
For sure.
yeah,
And then we have the actual news. There's been a bunch of just motion going on
Yeah.
this last week. We have Fred again, Skrillex, and Anderson .Paak.
that
were
song
performing it.
you talked about last week, incredible,
Very good.
awesome
Yes.
song. Yeah, with Chica
Very
and
good.
Anderson .Paak, fantastic song.
Mhm.
Been listening
Did
to
you
it
see
all
the
week.
music video?
No, I have not.
There's, like-
I will probably watch it.
There's a dope concept. I believe this is true. Apparently they recorded the entire session and posted it as the video. So like you get like a behind the scenes kind of aspect.
Oh, that's sick.
Pretty dope.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% gonna watch that as soon as we're done here.
For sure. But yeah, they're performing at Civic Center in San Francisco. It's a really dope venue for that, and I'm excited for Fred again. He has been blowing up. We also have an insane amount of just discussions and promotions around upcoming
Nuts,
albums for
nuts.
this summer. Yeah, it is the flood. Megan Thee Stallion officially has released or officially announced that she will be releasing a self-titled album.
Yeah.
Very excited for that. We have Lil Yachty and James Blake will be making a
That's
collab album
wild.
coming out.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely
wild.
insane.
I'm into it, but it's wild.
Have you guys listened to any of the interviews that they've been doing together on
I
Complex?
did see some of the interviews.
No, but I will. That sounds fun.
Highly
Poland is
recommend
his
it.
favorite song.
I predict that Lil Yachty is eventually just going to be a talk show host. Like the number of
Yeah.
things where he's like interviewed people. We've all seen that famous clip. It's like, if crime was legal for a day, what would you do? I don't know. Probably get a BBL.
Yeah.
No, if
It-
crime
it's a
was
good
legal, not if
podcast.
you could. If crime was legal for a day, not if you could be gay. It's like, no. Let's stop and talk about your answer.
Yeah.
Let's break this down.
Someone
Was
give
that the
him
one with
a
J.
shot.
Cole, or was that a different one?
No, it's a different guy. Someone give
Okay.
him a shot at like the Tonight Show and see how it goes.
I could totally see him going the Danny Brown route and just like having more followers on Twitch than people who listen to your music.
That's wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
But yeah.
that's fun. DJ Mustard, crazy. Do you see the potential feature list?
It's insanely
Like
wild.
Travis, Future, Megan Thee Stallion, and Kid Cudi. What? That's
Let's see.
crazy.
Any big name that you can think of. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure J. Cole was on there. It was a ton of stuff.
You'd be, I would be kind of shocked if Kendrick wasn't on there, seeing as how the biggest song of the year so far has been Kendrick and DJ Mustard.
I mean, you Not Like Us might be on the album.
I wouldn't hate that. Oh, are we talking about the
Oh.
PG Lang thing? Are we going to talk about the PG Lang thing?
Yes, we will. Should we just talk about it now? Since we-
Well, we also had
Let's just-
Denzel Curry announce an album, which, by the way, I'm so excited. I just have to say, he has That Mexican OT featured on the track, and I am just so excited. I've been championing him since last year when Johnny Dang came out, and Denzel Curry has been long one of my favorites. So this is a big moment for me. Like,
when we were talking about it, it's perfect timing. Like, it just kind of makes sense.
yeah.
Everything's coming together, and I feel like they would fit well together. I'm
No,
excited
I think
for
it's
that.
gonna go great. I think it's gonna go fantastic.
And just to finish up some of the names, Childish Gambino has been doing more promotion. The little snippet of "Nobody Gives a F," that's been coming up all over my feed, and then Chance the Rapper is continuing to drop these 1 minute, 2 minute Instagram reels, and they all sound good.
Yeah,
So-
they do all sound good, but they're not an album.
But they're not enough.
Correct.
They're not an album.
You are correct.
You hear that, Chancellor? You hear that?
Are you listening? But yeah, there's just some more stuff. And again, I feel like this will be a trend every week. I feel like every time I've been doing the news, it's like 5 people I need to mention for their promotion.
Yeah.
But you just brought it up, and we might as well talk about it. PG Lane this is like the first thing they've done since they were created.
Yeah.
I feel like there's been
Yeah,
no
they're doing a
movement.
pop up.
Since they made the fucking phone, or
Yeah.
the partner on that phone thing.
Right. And I'm not even counting that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's going to be,
It's the
I
16th,
believe
right?
it's called like the pop out or something
Yeah.
like that, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta pop out.
And
No, my
to show
favorite
people.
is Pop Out and Show Buddies. That's what I always say, and I think it's very funny.
Incredible.
I'm glad you said.
It's the
But yeah.
19th. I thought it was like literally the
It's gonna be on
16th.
Juneteenth.
I thought it was the
Yeah.
16th. I thought it was like, is this in 616 in LA? Like,
Oh, that's an interesting idea.
Yeah,
I
but
see
no.
the thought process.
no,
but
it's
no, it's
Juneteenth.
this man's gonna have half of LA singing "Not Like Us" on Juneteenth. Then there's
Incredible.
gonna be some earthquakes. So very
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah, and it seems and there's a lot of like Terrence Martin has been talking about how there's possibly a new Kendrick album coming. So I think if he announces, that's it. This is a year. This is one for the books. And I also think because it's so soon after Miss Morale, that if it comes out, it's almost certainly going to be something fun, which I would like.
Well, if Kendrick doesn't drop an album, this will be his first one not on TDE because he's officially done
Yeah,
with TDE.
yeah, because
It's true.
Mr. Morale was on both. Yeah, because it was on TDE. So yeah,
Yeah,
it would
that
be
was his last one.
Yeah,
Because I think he's going off on his own, doing his own label.
yeah, it's PG Lane.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think there's been a lot of theories that the first thing that could come out of PG Lane could be a Hillbillies project, but I would not be upset if that's what was announced, but I don't feel like it is. For some reason, I have a
Anything
feeling
you
it's
put
going to
out
be a Kendrick solo, but I would not be upset if it was the Hillbillies.
Look, I'm here for it.
No.
Going on to some of the other stuff that's been going on this week. My prediction was correct. Don Toliver will be in Fortnite.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, that's
up.
not surprising.
Yeah.
Okay. In a motorcycle, it just kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't play
Especially, you know,
Fortnite, but I think it's cool.
It's going to be just like when Travis Scott was in it.
Yeah. It's all the
They'll
same
probably
thing.
have a concert within the
Yeah,
game
some
and
pre-recorded digital concert. I don't know.
Yep.
Like, to me, it feels
You
like a
gotta
very
admit-
soulless cash grab. Like that's how I feel about these things. I know I'm the minority here, but I like this is like okay, get your money kind of thing. Like I don't think it's like the worst thing in the world, but like this is a soulless cash grab. And
I think we'll end up seeing all of Cactus Jack in Fortnite.
you're gonna
eventually.
see every
Once
major
they make it.
but like every artist, Ariana Grande's in Fortnite. Like it's you're
I
gonna
feel
see.
like that's just kind of, if anything, that's more of a shot at Fortnite than like the artists. That's just Fortnite. Like they do collabs with everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like, so therefore, it would be on the artist to say no and just like have a thing that we call integrity. Like, once again, like I'm not gonna stop listening. Like I'm excited for Don Toliver's album. I'm not gonna not listen to it because of this. But like,
Yeah.
it is like, like no, it's like go ahead get your money, but I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like it's not, exactly what it is.
Those microtransactions.
Yeah, they need that
Yeah.
that V-Buck money.
Is it better than a McDonald's meal?
I mean, I would consider them the exact same thing. Like, I think all this shit's the exact same thing. And that's why it's like kind of all lame to me. Like,
Coming from the guy in advertising.
I see how the sausage is made. It's- you know, like for the same reason your
they're not
butcher
gonna
is
get paid from Spotify.
for the same reason your butcher doesn't eat certain cuts of meat. Yeah, I'm exactly that kind of way. So
Hey, I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
yeah,
You've seen behind the scenes or whatever.
yeah.
But
I
anyway,
see through the lies of the Jedi.
there you go. Should I ask him the question, Brandon, that I asked you?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I randomly asked Brandon this week who would win, Paul Atreides or Yoda, and I don't know which one I want to go with because like he has a big worm.
He does
Can
have a
the
big worm,
Force
but
prevent Yoda from being subject to the voice.
I would say so. My thing
Then
is that
probably Yoda.
my thing is the lightsaber. The
Yeah,
lightsaber
Yoda would probably win that.
Yeah,
Just
like
cut through everything.
like yeah, like
He has the
like
Force.
yeah, he has the Force. He has a lightsaber, right? Like he's gonna cut Paul Atreides in half before he can say anything. You know, like
Dude,
He's
yeah,
gonna
dude
lift the
fought-
worm up. And
I would
crush
like
him
to
with
say
it.
I would
Dude,
like
if
to
he
say
can lift the worm, that's insane.
dude, in Star Wars, people pull Star Destroyers out of orbit. That's way bigger than the worm.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, and dude, Yoda fought and beat the first Sith Lord in 10,000 years after like figuring out what the fuck was going on,
Right.
and then showing up and destroying his royal guards. Like, fuck off.
Not like if you gave him 10 years and was like, now connive and scheme and take control of this planet. Who's
Yeah.
going to win that political war? That's Paul
Paul.
Atreides.
It's gonna be Paul.
That's going to be
fair
Paul.
Paul.
Yeah, like, yeah, you know. I think the more interesting thing is that, like, if you put Paul into Westeros, would he wind up on the throne?
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry for
That's fine.
bringing up the
That's
nerd
okay.
stuff.
Had to be done.
Speaking of big worms.
Go ahead, Brandon.
No, I don't even know what this one is about. Drake is featured on the worst song I've heard this year. Is it the Sexy Red song?
You don't know
No.
the song,
It's the remix of "Hey There, Delilah."
Brandon. You don't know the song.
Oh,
Wagwan
no, yeah.
Delilah.
I'm not. Yeah, no.
Yeah, like
It's not real.
A lot of people are saying it's AI.
It is.
I
Is
would
it?
hope.
It's
'cause
AI. It's not real.
that bad.
I don't. He didn't
not.
clarify, and he promoted it on his Instagram. So
He was probably memeing. It's not real. It's not him. It's too
No.
high pitched.
you
'Cause,
would
like-
think at this point you would provide enough clarity to say that it's not me.
Also, the Wagwan is like playing on the fact that he does a bogus Jamaican accent. It's like making fun of him.
Interesting.
I mean, he did.
I'm happy. I'm not. I'm happy. I'm out of this. Actually, I think this is great. You get him,
Brandon,
Jasper.
heard the
You get him.
song.
You get him.
I was gonna say he rapped over BBL Drizzy.
I'm the Sexy
to
Red
me.
song, which is the worst
That was
song
a
I've
real
heard this
song.
year.
That's like
That's-
an actual song.
That's like a real
Yeah,
song,
but-
yeah, but it's
but
like
that's
the
the
worst
thing,
song
so,
I've heard
like,
this year. So that's what I
him-
thought you were talking about.
No, it
Him
gets worse.
sharing,
It's on
him
SoundCloud.
sharing another thing that's fucking with him is like him continuing the bit of like, I'm just going to use the things that people are saying negatively about me to promote myself.
No.
That's all it is.
Yeah, 'cause, like even the lead singer of Plain
Yeah,
White
Plain
T's
White
came
Tees,
I
out
saw
and
that
said,
video today.
I saw
yeah,
that.
he even said that's
Not Drake.
not Drake.
Yeah,
It sounds bad. It's not good.
not him.
But anyway,
It's too bad to have Drake on that.
dude, it's not good. It's not good.
It's terrible.
um,
I'd rather listen to Krispy Kreme, and Brandon knows what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
As
A
baddest
million
of them
times.
all. Yeah.
so
I don't know why
I'll
that
give you
happened.
that.
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, no, I'm happy I didn't hear about this. I gotta be honest with you guys. Being not on social media as much is good. I like it. Like
For the most part, I only send you news nowadays. To me, anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. I get
Um,
your TikToks through Rachel. I have someone who filters through all the things you said and then sends it to me. Like,
It's not a lot nowadays. I'm not on.
no, it's
TikTok
not a lot,
anymore.
but it's enough. Like,
It's gold. And another thing I wanted to cover, then kind of moving on. Then, Billboard did rank the 10 hottest female rappers right now. Did you guys by chance get to see the list?
yes, I did.
I didn't
I
even
think
know that,
that list
happened.
is trash.
What would you list it at? Or let's do like a top 5.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's one. I think it's weird to use hottest. Like, I get like it has like it doesn't necessarily mean like who's the most attractive, right? I just think it's sus to use that like when you're talking about, because like, you know, unless you're the source, you're not talking about male rappers that way.
It's just bad.
Yeah,
media
but yeah,
attention.
no, I did not like because one, I think Nicki Minaj is way past her prime, has not released it.
Totally.
Yeah,
She
I
dropped
think
an album.
Sexy
year.
Red's
Yeah, but she still shouldn't be number one.
no, shouldn't be number
I
one.
agree.
Number one should be Meg, 100%. Like
100%.
100% should be Megan Thee Stallion.
Doja Cat should be 3, not 4.
Yeah.
Wait, who's
So
three?
is one Meg? Who's two?
For me, it's Glorilla. I would
Oh, that's
100% put Glorilla after. Yeah, Glow.
I do
Like,
want to put Glorilla, but Sexy Red is really big.
I guess
She
she's
just
really.
dropped it out.
I guess she's really. One, she's not bigger than Meg. So the fact that she's
No,
above,
she's not. No,
yeah.
I'm not putting her as one. No,
Yeah,
I
but
wouldn't go that far.
Yeah.
Where
And-
is
I'd go.
Spice
I'd
in
go
all of
Sexy
this?
Red at 2. I'd keep her at 2.
I would put her. I mean, I wouldn't mind her at 4. Me, I would
Okay.
go. I would go Meg, Glow, and we're talking like the big names that are actually on the list because like my favorite female rapper is Armani Caesar, and like
Right,
she's
yeah.
not on this because she's not. Yeah.
Certainly not.
But no, so I mean, I'd probably still put Meg above her though. But yeah,
Like I
no.
wouldn't even have Cardi B at 7. I wouldn't even have her in the top 10. Like she
Ice
hasn't
Spice
really
is
done
fine.
anything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
Cardi B has done nothing. recently.
yeah, Cardi B just hasn't done. Yeah, her
She hasn't done anything.
She does. She was on the remix for that Glorilla song with Meg. That was really good. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
but
was. But she hasn't released an
Feature
album.
shouldn't
Yet.
count.
Yeah, she hasn't released an album in a lot of years. I am more okay with Cardi B because like Cardi B just changed the game for female rappers in a way that we're still feeling. Right? The fact that we're able to rank female rappers when 10 years ago like there was only ever one at a time, you know, that's because of Cardi B. So, yes, I think she should be in the back 5, but I also don't love Ice Spice. Where's Rhapsody? Is Rhapsody on this list? I'm not looking at it.
No.
She-
Like
I will give you the list right now, like the actual list that they dropped, in order.
yeah,
It goes Nicki Minaj,
no,
Sexy Red,
no,
Megan Thee Stallion,
no.
Doja Cat,
That's okay.
Ice Spice,
No.
Glorilla, Cardi B, Lotto, JT, and then Flo Milli at 10.
Okay, so
I
Flo
have
Mil-
Spice
Lotto
should be
higher.
yeah, I'd have
Ice
Lotto
Spice
high.
should be higher.
Mine would be I don't know about Ice Spice higher. I'm okay with her in the top 10 for sure, but I don't know.
Yeah.
To me, it would go Meg, Glow, Doja, Flo Milli, and then Lotto.
Okay.
You know, I mean,
I'll-
like Sexy Reg is huge. Don't get me wrong. I just think she's like by far, and I like Ski Yee. I unironically love Ski Yee to this day. If
I'm
I
having
hear,
the Sexy Red phase right now.
yeah,
to
look,
be
I
honest.
unironically love Ski Yee, and I thought that first project was pretty good. Not amazing, but like, no, I do not think she should be in the top 5. I would put.
I'd keep her in the top 5 because she's blowing up bigger.
She's huge.
Outside of just
She is
music
huge.
game. She's blowing up bigger in just the media game.
Yeah, she is.
huge.
She's huge. She's really well liked right now, and I don't think she's like, yeah, but yeah, I think I think a lot of the right pieces are on the board, but I think it's in completely the wrong order.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And to be
Oh.
honest, we've never been able to do this before.
yeah, maybe in the
So, like-
'90s,
Kinda dope. Yeah, maybe in the 90s.
maybe in the early '90s, but like ever since, honestly, like from Missy Elliott to Cardi B, like it was only ever one person.
That's how they ran it.
I mean, yeah, Lil Kim also.
Lil' Kim, but Lil' Kim was like by the time Missy Elliott showed up in like the late '90s, Lil' Kim was around like during the Queen Latifah era in like the mid '90s for sure. There was a
Yeah,
period.
but Lil Kim. But when you look back at Lil Kim, she was like one of the first hard female rappers.
She was, and she deserves some respect for that. There's a really, really good documentary about female rappers on Netflix that I highly recommend everyone look at. It's really great. And you know who's not on this list, and I absolutely hate is Rico Nasty.
Yeah, Rico Nasty missed the list.
Rico
She was
Nasty
nice
is
to go with.
fantastic. Yeah.
Oh,
All right.
yeah. All right, and then moving on to the last bit of news. Now, I'm actually curious, Jasper. I feel like you would know the most about this. Did you know about this already?
Yeah, I have no idea what this
Pharrell
is.
Williams one?
Pharrell Williams for which the
Yeah,
fragrance.
the movie.
No. So,
Oh, the
Pharrell
movie.
Williams will be dropping a movie, essentially just speaking on his life. But it is going to be a Lego movie, and it's
I
called.
think that
Beast by
just
Yeah.
got announced today.
I saw something about that
Literally
today.
just got
Yeah,
announced.
Lego Pharrell. That's wild. I am 100% into this idea. he's done some kind of like Lego inspired designs in the past, especially working with LV now and things like that.
I did
So
not know that.
not like Lego like directly like a collab or anything, but like Lego inspired. So I could see how he's like trying out a new medium and seeing, you know, what does that mean for the art. I think that's interesting.
I believe I saw him do like a quick snippet interview. He said he wanted to do something unique by telling his story.
Yeah.
And doing it as a Lego movie is one of the most unique ways.
Yeah. No, I'm kind of like just reacting to it on a very surface level where it's like it's a biopic about Pharrell that's like Lego, and I'm like, that's fine. I like that. I think that's cool. You know,
that's
like
a very Pharrell thing.
Yeah, I'm into that. Like,
yeah.
You know, like genuinely creative while still family friendly. Sounds like Pharrell.
And he has a pretty wild story to tell.
Yeah, no, definitely. Oh, he is like one of the mainstay figures in hip hop. I think if there's anyone whose story I want to hear, it's Pharrell.
You know? And he's like one of the cleanest ones out there.
Yeah, he really is.
Clean rap.
Apparently, like, I don't know if we've talked about this specific thing, but one of the things I've heard like on Reddit and all the theories about like why everyone started going after Drake, it was because he dissed Pharrell on Utopia. Like,
yeah, dude, that shit was bogus.
He dissed Pharrell on Utopia, and that made everyone just blood in the water. Yeah,
so rare.
And like Pharrell helped Travis produce sections of the album and was in the studio with him and was in the music video for K-pop. Yeah. And like Drake just turns around and is like, you know what? Fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a lot of artists like Travis Scott, 21 Savage. They're just like they're the lost children in the midst of all this.
Back and mom and dad are fighting.
Literally. Yeah. So I'm very into this. I think it's maybe a touch overly cutesy. You know, for the guy who produced All Right and the song about your money having slave masters on it. But
he also produced Happy. So.
But he also produced Happy. That's an excellent point. That was literally exactly what I was about to say. So like, I like it. I like it a lot. Maybe a touch cutesy, but yeah.
Which is a bigger hit, Happy or Get Lucky?
Definitely Happy, because anything for children automatically makes more money, because children literally have like less music to listen to. Yeah. But Get Lucky is one of the best like #1 singles of my life. That is like one of my favorite all-time songs. So like I'm always going to be partial to that. Like I like it
with one of the best techno bands out there.
Yeah, House. Yeah, French House.
I have sad news actually on that note.
What?
It appears that Daft Punk will not be reuniting to perform at the Paris Olympics opening ceremony.
No.
Sad boys.
No.
It's not confirmed.
Is there a reason? Did they explain why?
No, they were contacted about it apparently by like the organizers.
We should get Outkast.
Apparently they said no. So we'll see.
I appreciate that, because with them splitting up, I think they should just stick to that. Just with how secretive Daft Punk has been their whole career.
Yeah.
Just you split up, just leave it at that.
But they're still releasing a ton of content. They're putting out all this deluxe stuff for Random Access Memories. They've done a drumless version. They're doing merch. So like they're still active in the space of like releasing things from their catalog that we haven't seen.
Yeah. Daft Punk, the brand, is still going hard.
Yeah. So it's like you would think that one performance 10 years after their last like televised thing would be in the cards.
Yeah.
It's been 10 years since the Grammys.
Or they just know how corrupt the Olympics are and they're just sticking it to them.
Totally. That's an option.
I'd like that.
Big brain.
But yeah, I would love to see Daft Punk in concert though. That is an S God tier level group. We'll never see it, but we'll never see it. But that would be a dream set for me. I love Daft Punk. All right. Well, do you want to do schools in session? We haven't done it in a minute.
We haven't done it in a while.
And Jeff has never done it. Jeff, have you ever done the school in session?
I don't think so.
Okay, so we do 5 artists, and we all give them a quick grade we try to do quick of, our grading scale. It's usually, most of the time, it's fairly easy. But we'll see how this goes.
Yeah. Everybody take your seats.
We average out all 4 of our scores and then put them A, B, C, or D, or F. And then question mark. If you don't have any experience, we have a question mark. category.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
I'll start going through. We've done a lot of artists, so they're going to be pretty obscure going for it. But we're starting off with Soulja Boy.
Oh, that's a fun one.
Started the music video trend. Like he's the staple.
Pretty boy swag.
Undeniably a massive impact. Undeniable impact.
Call Me Through the Phone. Was that him?
Call Me Through the Phone.
Yeah.
Kiss Me Through the Phone. Yeah. Everyone calls you through the phone. That's where you make calls.
But man, is he not a good person?
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
Scum.
No,
And
definitely
the rest
bad.
of his
Drake
are F's.
Yeah. Oh man,
So,
I
does
think I
anybody
could
wanna
level
start?
that out at a perfect C.
A perfect C.
I'm gonna go a C. I'm aware I'm coming in
Honestly-
high, but I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna start at an even C. Definitely not a C plus, but a C.
No? For me, I'll give him a C plus because he made a lot of hits and like he really started that music video trend back in the day.
Yeah, no, we would not. There are countless artists like that we would not have without Soulja Boy. Right now, we're seeing like artists, like we're seeing that like that level of influence like 2-3 generations down now, where it's like people are influenced by people who are influenced by people who never would have existed without Soulja Boy. But then again, he's also an awful person and has not put out good music in a very long time. So see, like,
Yeah, he's the first person to do anything ever.
Yeah, I'm giving him a C minus.
C minus. Okay.
His just music's just too much, too clowny.
yeah,
Ooh, it is kind of clowny. It's just it was very pop at the time.
It was good when it came out, but music
Yeah.
has changed so much. But you can use him as like an inspiration, but
yeah,
music just doesn't hold up.
no,
Yeah, that's valid.
Yeah, it's a D minus for me. If you want to,
Damn.
yeah, if you want to,
Damn.
I mean, you want to talk about a career that fell from grace quite quickly. Like, the hits were there. I would like
The
to
hits
see
were there.
anybody still bumping any of these said hits without it being ironic. And also,
I listen
if
to
you
the
wanna-
rock version of Crank That every day. Like,
incredible. If you want to fucking go down a YouTube rabbit hole, look up the Soulja game console history.
Yep, wasn't good.
Yeah,
yeah,
Wasn't
Yeah.
good.
Forgot all about that.
blatant scamming.
yeah.
As a person,
As, like, a mainline
he is
artist.
F tier.
Yeah, no, he's an
Yeah.
F tier person, but we've given F tier. Certain people on this council have given F tier people A's before.
Well,
And
in
we've
memes,
moved
yes.
them up.
Yeah.
Although I will say this is the definition of misusing your influence. So for that, I give it a D minus.
Yeah,
He was quite conflicted.
yeah,
Fair enough.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't. That was the problem.
yeah.
He should have been conflicted.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna put him as like a low C.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on from that, we have Kodak Black.
Oh, can I say something really quick about the Soulja Boy game console? It just popped
Yeah.
into my head. I just think if you've heard, oh, Soulja Boy's making a game console,
Yeah.
I'm gonna spend money on that. I think if you went through that process, you kind of deserve it. I'm just putting that out there.
You
You're
didn't
not
have to
wrong.
do that.
Yeah,
You
right.
didn't have
Like,
to do that.
With that,
You didn't have
correct.
to do
But
that.
with
Like-
that being said, if you buy a product, you have a reason to
As a
expect that
consumer.
that a product will be provided and fulfilled in the whole deal.
granted,
you know,
yeah, no, I'm not saying it's not a bad thing. I'm just saying it's like
It happened to people that might have deserved it.
And like
100%.
Kanye sells shoes, so like it's like the whole brand integration thing. It's like, oh, it's just another one of those. For someone who's like not in the music industry, like not into like the culture of it, I could see how that would be like potentially like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Maybe I'll spend $120 or something.
Possibly.
Mm,
Look, I bought a Steam player, so I don't have much to say.
yeah,
about
I
it.
get that. Yeah, but like I knew what I was getting into when I bought this stuff. Like,
Sure.
like it's like, oh yeah, this is a little widget that feels like skin. It's not going to be supported forever, right? Like,
Yeah.
Oh, I can only download music through a site that he runs. Anyway, Kodak Black.
oh, Kodak Black,
Ooh.
D minus,
Someone who we're gonna see at Summer Smash.
D minus.
Probably
Yeah,
gonna see it at Summer Smash. And to me, same thing as Soulja Boy. I like his music, but he's not a great person.
yeah. I think he's a significantly worse person than Soulja Boy for some pretty obvious reasons.
Yes.
But his music's so much better.
I disagree.
Music is much better.
I actually disagree. I actually think that they are. I think a lot like I can actually probably legitimately name more Soulja Boy songs I like than Kodak Black.
Okay, that's actually fair. But those are hits, so
doesn't matter. Like like at the end of the day, though, like there's at least if you said like, hey, you have to listen, like there's a gun to your head and you have to listen to one Kodak Black song or one Soulja Boy song, I know which one I'm gonna listen to.
Zeze on repeat, bitch.
Yeah.
Roll in peace.
Yeah. But
for me.
Yeah. Like, yeah. And like I appreciate that, like, he definitely was like a player in the whole SoundCloud thing, but it's just like, I don't know. Like I just feel like his stuff is just like very boring. Like it just seems like the lowest like common denominator, right? Like it is like one of those things like, why would I listen to this when there's Future and Travis Scott and Young Thug and people doing the exact same music better?
Okay, so D- is the official.
Yeah, D-. I won't give him an F. I'll clear because he was on Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. I do like Silent Hill, but so I will go D-. But
all right, well, Jeff, do you want to go next then?
I'm giving him a B.
Okay.
Yeah, I just like his music so much better. He's in rotation on my music lib playlist, so.
Fair enough. Hey, I'll take it. Jasper?
I'm going to go C, just because, like, his personal hits I'm not a huge fan of necessarily, but, like, I think he's an excellent feature. And I think anywhere he pops in, he adds a lot of color. And he has a very unique sound and a very unique voice. I think he is, like, to a lot of earlier SoundCloud stuff, what 42 Doug kind of is now, to like post 2020 type stuff. Yeah. So I think he has like a lane which he really can fill in like making a track pop a little more, but I don't think it's always well used. I think it's kind of the burden of the artist who has him as a feature to know how to best utilize his skill set.
Yeah.
Which explains why Brandon would point out Kendrick, because Kendrick would know how to use him.
Yeah. Like there's that Zay song which I did like. So like there's a handful of songs, but like nothing I could like really name off the top of my head that is like a Kodak Black song.
What's the Metro Boomin song with Travis and Kodak? That's like, I love that song. I pop pills till I can't feel no more. That one.
That is a good song.
Is that called No More? It's off of what is it? Let's see.
Crap.
I love that song.
But I can't remember. I was literally just listening to Rolling yesterday.
Kodak Black, where the hell is it?
Well, while you're looking, I'll give my grade.
No More. Travis Scott,
No More.
Kodak
It is
Black,
No More.
21 Savage. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm gonna give him a B-. I think he has a lot of good hits out there in terms of just like his own solo music, and he is a really good feature. Yeah. Anything negative that I would say about him would be personal issues, and it's just not as, his bag isn't as deep as other artists. So that would be the only.
Yeah.
So I think a C as an average is okay.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like where it comes down.
All right. Rolling on, Royce the 5'9".
Ooh,
deep cut.
Ooh.
Oh man.
A legend question mark?
I mean, at least a myth. Like
a myth.
So we got a Detroit rapper.
Yeah, Royce the 5'9".
Heavily connected with Eminem.
Yeah. Because that's how I know him. I know the Bad Meets Evil albums. And that's like my... Yeah. And I'm even wondering if I have to take a question mark on this one, because that's literally all I know.
That's disconnected, yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time... But at the same time, I definitely remember like Bad Meets Evil 2 was like in the beginning of Eminem's downfall. And
that's like
I
when he started pushing Shady Records back in the early 2010s.
Yeah.
My only reference is Book of Ryan, which I do like a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take like a C or a question mark for me.
I still know the opener to Bad Meets Evil, the song.
Mm-hmm.
There's a story behind that old saloon.
I'm gonna go question mark.
County.
I feel like I'm nowhere near as familiar. I feel like you gotta take my one question mark of the week, which is a game mechanic I'm inventing right now.
Yeah,
I'd go probably C+.
Yeah.
Because
like I don't want
to Meets Evil stuff. Like I really wasn't familiar with when he was feuding with D12 or any of the feuds he was dealing with in the early 2000s.
Yeah, he's definitely before our time.
Yeah,
much before my time. All right, should we just settle for C then?
Settle for C.
The next one is probably going to be the easiest one out of the 5. I can't believe we haven't done it, but MF Doom.
Oh, A. Yeah, it's
A.
Unfortunately, an A there, dog.
Yeah. Jeff gets a sad groan of A.
Jeff, are you aware of the Year of Doom we're doing?
Oh,
somewhat.
We're halfway through our Year of Doom. We're covering 4 Doom albums this year. We've already done his first one, Operation Doomsday, and Food. So you'll be on for Mad Villainy and The Mask and the Mouse.
Yes,
I'll be there.
It's funny how every time we get an A, it's just like A, and then it's just move.
Yeah, it's very rare. There's very rarely a discussion. A is actually probably the most boring grade. A and F are the most boring grades.
I was gonna say, if you look at the names, F is the shortest list, D, and then A. So everyone's falling in B and C. To close us out, Lil B.
Little B, A plus. Unironic A plus.
We're not giving Little B an A.
I'm giving him an A plus.
All right, well,
E.
Little B is everything we've said about Soulja Boy minus all the bad shit, plus a million dope bars. Bitches suck my dick because I look like J.K. Rowling. What does that mean?
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
I'm giving a B for Little B.
What, like wonton soup?
Slang like Ohio.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm going with a question mark because I haven't listened to Lil B.
Dude's a legend.
Didn't miss that much.
Basically, every SoundCloud rapper is Little B's child.
True.
Like Kodak Black would not be around without Little B.
You saw his intro on SportsCenter.
Yeah.
You know.
Just know him as the based god.
The based god. Yeah, we literally got the word based from him.
We did not get the word based from him.
Yeah,
did
we
did. Actually get the word based
Yeah.
from him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jesus. I'm never saying based again.
Based.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I hate to break it to you, but you've been living in the Little B's world this whole time.
It's just like the meme. You look, the astronaut staring at Earth. It was Little B the whole time.
Everything is Little B.
Okay, well, thank you for attending school. We're done. That's it.
School's out.
Okay.
All right.
Speaking of education and schooling. Get it out. Get out the giggles. Get out the giggles. Get them out. Oh my God. All right. So long-time listeners will know that me and Purvis have been in a trench war between our fanship of Belly and Nav.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad at all. But so Belly released a seminal. I think it is going to end up being his seminal project, 96 Miles from Bethlehem. Last week we talked a little bit about it, but we're going to do a full review right now before we do our Summer Smash preview. So, Jeff, you're the only person here who hasn't been on for a Belly episode. What is your context for Belly previous to this album?
I love Belly.
Yeah,
big time Belly fan. Love all of his work. This project, too controversial for me. Not a fan, just because it's just too much politics in my music that I don't like.
Yeah, I mean it is, but that's what it's about, though.
Exactly, and it's not going to be in rotation really at all for me.
Yeah, I can imagine
It's
this.
good.
Yeah,
It's good, but it's too political. I understand what it's about, and it's a great album for this time. But
Mm-hmm.
I
depending on
definitely.
how things go, it might age poorly or it might age well.
I think it's probably going to end up aging well because, as
Why
someone
do
who's
you
just
think
been
it'll?
like,
I'm just curious. Why do you think it'll age poorly? Without getting like, it is
Uh, it,
tricky with
it, it
albums
just
like
depends.
this
It just
yeah,
because
depends on how.
I think this is,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm just saying it can age poorly. I'm not saying it is, but it can.
mm,
If the whole Israel Palestine war just ends poorly for Palestine.
Yeah.
no, I get
I
that.
mean, I could definitely see. I think the thing is that I don't think it's ever going to age poorly because I think we have reached like the point where everyone is on the side. Most of the modern world is on the side that like what is happening to Palestine is atrocious.
Yeah,
And I think like as long as to me it would be like if you made something condemning the Holocaust while it was happening. Like I think it's the equivalent. Like you would never, like, yeah, I guess if it turned out that Nazi Germany was right, like that would have aged poorly. But like, I don't think we're ever going to get there. So,
I don't either, but I'm
and
just saying.
I do think it is
And
something of a black sheep of his catalog, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
Belly is not a. I think some of his songs can get like really substantive, but like some of his stuff is just a more lyrical version of Nav, in my opinion. And that's what I like it for. I
You
like it
said
because
more
it's
lyrical version of what? I didn't hear.
Nav,
Oh,
right? Like
mm,
I think of a song like Might Not. I think of a song like You. I think of a song like Ballerina. Right? Those songs like are really like well-made songs, and they have like really lyrical bars, but like they're there for like an ambiance and like a thing. And I think that's why Belly has never had widespread success because there's a tension between like what he's good at and like what the music he's doing is trying to do. I think this is the first time that his talents and his like his objective are pointed in the same direction. But I think like it's very fair. Like that's why I don't necessarily buy a lot of the criticisms that the album's too short. I'm like, yeah, it's about a genocide, right? Like it's not. You're not gonna. This isn't a subject people want to be subsumed in for a long period of time. At least in my
no,
opinion, especially
if
mm-hmm.
it was any longer, it'd be just too
too much. It
much.
would be oppressive. I agree. Like, and I enjoyed it. I think it actually does like for an album about such a serious issue. I actually do think it's fairly enjoyable. But I agree that like it is a bit of a black sheep in his catalog, and it is a lot. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Jasper, what about you? What was your feelings on this project?
I like it. I think it's a good album. I'm gonna go ahead and disagree with both of you. I don't think this album is going to age. I think that this is one of those pieces of art that, because it is so focused on
The thing,
contemporary politics and contemporary, just media and content, that it's functionally going to be swept into the news cycle, just like a piece of an article about this would be. And I think that there's definitely a place for art like this to exist and capture something political or something current, contemporary. But I think the media landscape really just isn't friendly to music like this, unfortunately. And I think
no,
because
it
of that, it's
isn't.
going to have a hard time.
No, it isn't. And I also think who Belly is,
Yeah.
and the means by which he made this album don't do him any favors. I think there's a huge reason why you've seen a lot more support for like Macklemore's song
Yeah.
about Palestine than Belly's, because this one was made in Arabia, like put out by UAG, the Universal Arabic Music Group.
It literally features people from the area.
Like literally people like, yeah, like there's literally a rapper from the Gaza Strip on this, right? Like, the thing is that I think unlike it's kind of like a weird phenomenon that happens with like the news, and like sometimes we're aware of it. Like with the pandemic we were aware of it, right? But it's hard to say like what's going to become like the news and like current events and what's going to become history.
Yeah.
Right? Like it for example, I think it's very fair to say that like a lot of like the domestic violence that happened in 2020, like a lot of like the riots and the protests and the movements, right? A lot of that was current events. But then there's January 6th, which is going to be a moment in history that people study for long past our time on this planet, provided America still exists. Fingers crossed it doesn't. But, but I think what's happening in Palestine is just so obscene that I think it very much is going to be. It's part of a 100-year history. So I think there is something to be said about being swept under the rug and subsumed by the noise, and also this project not really having a. I think it has like a great, on a creative level, I think it has a great like context. I think the timing is everything on a creative level, but like people aren't pushing it. There aren't, all the on the ground promotion of the album is done by fans. And there's a reason for that, and it's because of the socioeconomic conditions revolving our country's position on this issue.
Yeah,
and that's why I think like it is so like that's why I think like Purvis keeps saying that like, oh, this is the most important album of the year, and as opposed to the best, which I've been saying, and I think Purvis ended up being right, because it is like just a deeply relevant to like the nature of the world right now. I mean, 2024 will be the year that the entire world's watched a section of people get blown off the map. And I get it, if Kendrick Lamar had made this album, it probably would have went down a little bit easier, because you're used from that level of content from Kendrick Lamar, and maybe not so much from Belly. I mean, like, the best track on Belly's last song was about how him and his girl are the same person. Like, so I think there's a lot of strengths with this album, but I'm disappointed in how little of a splash it's making, but I see why it is.
Yeah.
Do you think? Sorry, go ahead, Jasper.
Oh, I was just gonna say there's something to be said for when you have something to say, and I think this album, it has a lot of great moments, good lyricism. I think that some of the songs do feel a little short, and I think that's because the challenge here is that it's almost like he is just like, this album kind of strikes me as a reaction piece. He's like reacting to what he's seeing online. He's reacting to what he's seeing, on TV, or like what's coming up in the news. And because of that, it doesn't necessarily feel like he's having his own thoughts and feelings about the conflict and about the issue, and is more so just like, look how bad these things are. So it's like, it's not as though he is doing what Kendrick does and he's like putting his own thoughts and feelings into like why things are the way they are and like how it affects him and like the culture. It's more so specifically like, this is happening right now and it's bad and here's why. And at least that's how I interpreted it. And I don't necessarily think that is serving the goal that he, I think, was set out to kind of accomplish, which is like obviously visibility, but also to create a piece of art that is like capable of standing on its own for a time period, like we just said, like kind of getting swept into the cycle.
Okay.
Yeah. Purvis, what about you? How'd you react to this album?
I don't know. It's tough. I appreciate this album. That's like the main thing I want to take away is that I actually genuinely appreciate the body of work that he created. As I said, even prior to it even being released, I do think it is the most important album just because of the messaging behind it. I do think it's a underrepresented group, especially in America, just because from a political standpoint, we very obviously are giving Israel to several things. But I won't get into that. The way I looked at the album, it reminded me a lot of To Pimp a Butterfly. I do think the actual importance behind the album even existing will surpass whatever quality he came out with, will surpass whatever thing he shared in the album.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate because he doesn't have, well, two things. I don't think he really has a fan base behind it to make it well known enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Yep.
Yeah. I think that's totally fair.
Yeah, and secondly, he's playing in a field where like it is an uphill battle. Not saying, I don't want to phrase this. In America, it's very obvious that like we've gone through slavery, we've gone through several things that like oppress Black people. But like Kendrick being on the platform he's on, it's allowed him to accurately portray the voice that needs to be told. And there wasn't going to be a lot of pushback against it because like there's history behind it on the exact soil that he is rapping about.
Yeah.
It is difficult for Belly to portray everything going on the other side of the world, somewhere that I don't know if he lives there. I don't know how much
He was
time
born there.
Right.
He lives in Canada, right?
He lives in Canada
right now. Yeah. So it's hard for him to tell a story on entirely different soil where a lot of people that would be listeners don't understand the history behind it. It's just kind of what it is.
Make it relatable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a lot of Americans have never lived through war at this point. Like you've got people
The
born.
majority of Americans haven't lived through a war now.
I'm pretty sure if you're 18 now,
in what
you
wait,
like
wait. In what sense? Because like we're involved in like 5 wars right now.
yeah, but like in the sense that domestically, there's never been a conflict that has ever shaken the U.S. since like 9/11, and even that wasn't a conflict; it was a blip.
Yeah.
So to say that like
because like if,
America
in that context,
by these wars.
In that context, you're totally right. But that, you know, there hasn't been a war that's affected the Americas since like the Civil War.
Yeah, so this is like I think fundamentally unrelatable, unfortunately, for a lot of people too. It's like people are upset about it, but there's no real way to empathize for Americans in a way that would truly capture what's going on there.
I think that's why, like, because you described the album as reactive, which I actually completely agree with. Like, I think it is reactive.
Yeah.
But I think, and maybe this is actually the guy who introduced me to Belly. It's a mutual friend of me and Jeff's, who's from Lebanon and Palestine, and I think the reason why, like, yeah, it does feel very reactive, like on patience, versus patience. He talks about like the thing that happened in real time on the internet, where it was like, oh, this is the list of, where bombs are going to go off, and it's like that's the days of the week. That was like a thing in real time that people were seeing happen, right? But the thing is, this assault on Palestinian people, like, it became a genocide 5 years ago. Like, it's ramped up
longer, depending on who you ask.
And it's been a human rights crisis for 100 years, right?
Yeah.
Ever since the Nebuchadnezzar in like the 20s, so I can kind of like, there are people who, and there's a thought that was brought up on this album, there are people who have never seen their people be free. There are people, like our mutual friends, who has never lived in a world where his people weren't rounded up into open air prisons, So I think I'm willing to grant him to be more reactive, because in order to have the depth and like, in order to have the depth to reflect on something like, to get to the level of To Pimp a Butterfly, you have to be able to like separate yourself from it and reflect on it. And it has to be over to an extent. Now, that's not to say that like the struggle for liberation of Black people in the United States isn't over. It definitely is not. But
it's more progressive.
But it has progressed since slavery versus Palestine, which has gotten worse and worse and worse and worse. So for me, I think just it being reactive, I think I was okay with, because, and also just like cards on the table, like I'm just on his side of the issue. This has been an issue that has, because of our mutual friend who was very close to me for a long time, like I've always have been kind of aware that this was going on.
And I've known him longer than I've known Brandon, so
yeah,
I kind of have to agree.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
So, like, I'm disappointed in the reaction, but I understand why, and it's because like the entire economic structure of our entire society is built on propping up like the people committing this atrocity, and that has nothing to say about like their faith or their ethnicity or anything. It's all geopolitics and money, like that's what it is. It all comes down. It all comes down to economic interest. I'm willing to bet this came out on Universal Arabic Group because it wouldn't come out anywhere else.
Of course.
You
yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet that's why he said it was going to come out in February and then March and then May. You know, so
Yeah.
and I think
potentially,
another thing is that this guy is getting people literally out of a war zone to make music. I think like that is a lightning in the bottle level of just like a level of like capturing something like as it happens, where you kind of just has to look at that. You kind of just has to look at the rawness of it, at least for me. You know, and like, yes, I definitely do agree that this does not, scratch the itch that I want a belly that typically I expect from a belly project. But I knew that going in. I knew I wasn't going to be able to smoke weed and rattle my trunk to 96 miles from Bethlehem. I just wanted someone who I thought is like this underrepresented, lyrical talent to actually speak on this. And, I also think it's important that like he's not the biggest Palestinian person in hip hop. But he's the only one talking about it like it. And that's, the other person is DJ Khaled, which I wanted a diss on so bad.
It's too important of an album. Like,
and like the brevity was a huge thing on this album. And I think the thing I really appreciate about it is how he kind of approaches several different like angles on the conflict in such a short amount of time. Like you have Patience versus Patience, which is about like a very specific thing, a specific part of the war that Israel is doing, which is they're aiming for hospitals, which like is insane. That is like a thing that like the Nazis didn't do. Like, like it's a thing that I think deserves an entire album to talk about or an entire song to talk about. I think the Janine song where he talks about the city he was born in and uses it as a metaphor for like being in love with someone. Because last week I thought this was about like an ex or something. But no, it's about his town, which is no longer there. It's just gone. Like we all have a hometown here. Jasper's is a major city. But like, could you imagine just like that being just a bunch of holes in the ground? And just your town just like not existing. And I think he brings that gravity to it. And I think for me the standout on the project is Crucifix. Because one, I think it's like a genuinely fun song. It's probably the only fun song in this entire project. And two, I think it offers like a perspective that a lot of people don't have on this conflict. A lot of people boil it down to like Jewish versus Muslim people, when in reality, some like half, if not more, than Palestinians are Christian. And like, like and the people applauding this, celebrate America as a Christian nation. Like, what the fuck is that about? So I think there's a lot of, for such a short, explosive, and yes, admittedly reactive album, I think it attacks it from a lot of different ways.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Is this worth doing? I mean, not to put it that way, but should we do a track list breakdown? Because at least coming into the album for me, I was most likely looking for the bars and the punchlines, and like just to see exactly what he was going to bring up about the war. Because like it's a very good album, and like in terms of quality wise, I'm pretty sure we mentioned Metro Boomin was like an executive producer.
Yeah, he was the only non-Arabic person involved in this project.
Exactly. It sounds great.
Yeah,
that's not why I listened to the album.
That's fair.
So I guess should we break down a track list or lines that stood out?
I mean, to me, I think like the lines that stuck out to me the most were all on Janine's song, because just like the double meaning of it, like how, he compares, he kind of makes like a love song about his hometown. To me, that was like where his writing style came out the best. And was it Carry Me? Carry Me was one that was basically just all the singer.
That's my favorite
the
one.
outro.
Carry Me, insane. Intro. I think if there's one thing he deserves an insane amount of credit for is finding these artists.
Yeah. for sure. Because I don't know who these people are.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're big over there. I genuinely have no
All
idea.
of these people have like 2 to 3 million listeners.
Okay.
So I would assume that means like, you know, because shocker, there's Spotify users in the Gaza Strip, like, and it's true.
Yeah.
Like,
Baruda is literally in Arabic, isn't it? Or the
Yeah.
intro.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's, and Maktub is also like I think the verse is in Arabic. You know,
This
and
is
like
a unique album.
it's a unique album. Like there really is, and I think that's another reason. Not just because Belly has been like a mainstay of like this podcast since its inception, and I feel like we should cover most of his projects, but like it also just is a moment that I'm happy he can own because I feel like he has been covered a lot. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times he puts out big projects at the exact same time as something else is going on. And you're right, he just doesn't have like the fan base to make a splash. You know? And I think on this one, I think it's about letting go of even like expectations like that and being like, okay, well, this is art that deserves to exist by virtue of what it's saying and like what it's about, which I think is freeing in a way.
Mm-hmm.
It is, but it's also, I don't think I'm the only one who feels this way. I'm sure there's other examples of art that you all probably feel this way about, but it's like when it's focused around a specific thing very tightly, and that thing is just an unfortunate thing, it kind of, for me at least, sours it. Where it's like, because I associate it with something negative, it's difficult for me to enjoy the art for what it is. A good example of that is
I can agree.
listening to Vultures, and like I can't separate what is happening musically from like who Kanye is as a person in 2022 and beyond. And it's like it just kind of sours that whole thing. And I think this, obviously it's a different thing. It's not about personality, it's about geopolitics. But it's just like one of those things where it definitely takes the album down a couple of pegs for me because it's just like it's not something I necessarily want to revisit, and it's something that if an album makes me mad while I'm listening to it, like yeah, it's doing its job of being the art piece to deliver that thing, but it doesn't mean that it's an enjoyable experience. And I don't think he set out with the goal to make an enjoyable experience, but I think that also impacts like the listenability and just like how people return to it and revisit the work, you know?
Yeah, but like, don't you think that's an unfair standard for an album that is literally quite literally named 96 Miles from Bethlehem?
I don't know. It's just the way it makes me feel personally. It's
Yeah.
like I just think that for me personally, it's like it's challenging in that way because it is directly very associative deliberately.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like on one hand, like yeah, I get that, like because this is about a genocide. You know, it's not going to be a pleasant experience, even
Yeah.
like when it is like fully hitting like as like a rap album.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like to me, I do see like there is like a fundamental difference between like this and something like Vultures.
No, definitely.
You know, because, and I think another thing is not to be in our own bubble, because like I think all of us probably exist in a world where like we're getting news about Palestine, but like that's not everyone, you know. But then again, those people probably aren't getting this project. But is that, you know, that's probably something that happened after its creation as a result of like the economic pressures created by the conflict the album is addressing. You know?
And
so I guess to me, it's like, to me, I feel like it's more speaking truth to power in this thing. And like, sure, yeah, it's upsetting, but like, it's not upsetting to me that people are talking about it. To me, that's hopeful.
right, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess like I get that, but I just don't, because of the larger context, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, and it's also like who you are. Like as the token Jewish guy on the podcast, like this is gonna hit differently for me probably than it will for the rest of you for like a variety of reasons. But
Yeah.
you know.
True.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, how deep down the political rabbit hole are we gonna get? Am I gonna get canceled on this podcast for like, or not canceled, maybe fired for like
No, we're
saying
not
some
gonna,
stupid?
yeah.
Yeah,
We're not going to fire anyone. Purvis.
Oh no, I don't know if Daddy Brownbank would like my opinions about Israel. But
Oh, yeah,
that's
that's-
another story.
That's a fair point. And look, and like, I think that's like a part of why I think this album kind of deserves a little bit more work from people because
Yeah, totally.
we are kind of conditioned to have that reaction to something like this, and we shouldn't. You know what I mean? Like that is a thing that we should resist. Because like I know a lot of people who said the same thing about the Simple Butterfly, and shocker, those people wound up turning 30 and being racist. And it's just like, oh, you're just like unable, like you don't want to do the work to connect to the black struggle because you don't like black people. Right. So like, yeah, I get it. And especially like right now, getting like while bombs are literally dropping, like I get that this can be a bit much, but like, is that level of disconnect, is it actually coming from a place worth respecting?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This album makes me think about people who I don't like, who are very Zionist, who I like know personally.
And that's fair. And I get that. Like, I get that. And it's like, I also know those people.
Yeah.
And it's not a fun thing, you know?
Yeah. As someone who came into the conflict with very limited knowledge, learning the differences between the two has been eye-opening, to say the least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But anyway. And
I do think, I'm just going to put this out there, especially because Belly is not, you know, I appreciate that because you just said it yourself. Like, you know, there's some conflation between, you know, Zionism and Judaism, and I'm happy he doesn't fall down any anti-Semitic rabbit holes. Because, actually that's something I wanted to bring up with Jasper, because like, at least I didn't feel that way. You know, so, you know, that was my main thing. I think I was impressed by the tact. I think the other thing is that, you know, I remember last week we had the conversation like, oh, is it really more of a mixtape? And I want to know how everyone feels about that now, having heard it. Because to me, I feel like even though it is brief, it is pretty grand and lush. And but at the same time, so are some mixtapes. So like,
I'd still have it fall under that category.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough. Honestly, I don't know what to call this. I wouldn't call it an album, a mixtape, or anything. Like it, I am fine calling this a piece of art that has meaning that goes past the music. It doesn't even matter what the music, if it was good or not. The message mattered much more to me personally.
Yeah.
So like this could be a painting, if you ask me. Like,
that's fair. Yeah. Yeah, and I guess like I guess another reason is because like I'm kind of happy that like information about this conflict and like humanizing like experiences about it are finally released in a way that isn't news coverage or a documentary.
That is also true.
And I think that is, I think if this has legs and has a chance to like really bury itself in the zeitgeist, I think it's people using it to ground people in the conflict, like in someone's experiences who like have been there.
Everyone connects through music.
Yeah. One of the most, you know, universal human feelings. Now, do we want to give this a grade, or do we want to bow out of that given all the things involved?
I'm bowing out, but I want to say this does qualify as an EP. I think that's what we.
I think so. Like, I think an EP is probably
that actually makes it. Yeah.
That because EPs are longer. Yeah. I think another thing is that a mixtape is not something to me that ever means length.
Yeah.
Also, mixtapes are meant to be light.
Yeah, that's another like, fair point. That's another very fair. Yeah, right. The mumble rap last year he said was a mixtape, and that I'm like, okay, that's a mixtape. Like,
it's very clear.
Yeah, and movie magic. Okay, good news, everybody. You're going to be getting an early episode next week about Summer Smash.
Yes.
Because someone
just went a little long.
We're kind of talking about, you know, we want to give this a little room to breathe. And someone has pasta to go eat. So
there you go.
Yeah. So should we just go right to our recommendations?
But
can I start?
Yeah.
Go.
Okay, because full disclosure right now, I'm doing a bit. This is a bit I've wanted to do ever since Jasper joined the podcast. This is a bit I'm gonna do.
Jasper?
Ever since Jasper joined the podcast and we moved from 3 recs to 2 recs, there's a bit I've been wanting to do. So I'm going to do the bit. And both songs come from using like one of those auto-generated day list Spotify things, where it just set me. No, it was the it was the Time in the Bottle, the time capsule, where it sent me stuff from like way back from like before I switched to Apple Music and everything. So I was listening to a lot of like songs that like I was really into in like 2014, 15, 16, 17. And so my first recommendation is, and the bit will appear itself in the second recommendation. First recommendation is a song called Satellites by Rise Against, a local hardcore band, one of my favorite groups of all time. Purvis, I think this would be an excellent song for you to check out because it's a very poetic song. Like the verses are almost written like haikus, right?
Ooh,
like
okay.
they're all like they're all about like self-actualization. Like one of them is like, you know, you will never truly learn to fly until your feet are on the cliff. You know, that like
That is right up my alley. You
right
know
up
me
your
well.
alley, right? So, and the chorus is a standard like melodic hardcore sing along thing. It's an amazing song. Satellites by Rise Against.
Okay, but I like that. You've told me to listen to Rise Against probably 20 times, so
They're
it-
very
it
good.
will
They're a
be-
local band. They're you know,
know.
they're from Wicker Park.
All right, well, I am ready, so I'll just go then. My first one, it's not a bit. It's gonna be Thundercat because he's coming back again to Chicago. I've been listening to some Thundercat. Them changes, bangs, slaps,
Such a great
hits,
song.
whatever you want to say.
Top tier
Great song. Absolutely. So that's my first one.
Mine is going to be a song that I actually just came across yesterday and actually shared it in the group chat. It's going to be Chicago by Drama. It is a really good house music song that I think all of you guys would like.
I'll listen to that immediately.
It's got a great beat.
I
great
saw
lyrics.
it and I
It's
was like,
it's true Chicago house music.
Okay.
Perfect.
give it to me. Oh, I love Chicago house music. Oh,
I can footwork to it. Like,
I do footwork to this. I can do drugs to this. I can fuck to this. This is house music.
Yeah, I think you can do all that.
it was just
That's going on a shirt. That's got to be a shirt.
this is going on a TikTok video. That's as far as it's going. The TikTok.
We'll get a shirt made.
We'll get a shirt, man.
All right, Jasper, what's your first song?
I'm going to take y'all back to the lovely landscape of 2009 because I've been listening to early Frank Ocean and I'm going Love
Oh.
Crimes.
Nah, that's a good
I
one.
love it. I love it.
All right.
All right, bet.
All right. Time for the bit to reveal itself. So I was on this time capsule and I saw this other song. And to be honest with you, I only started listening to this other song because I'm like, I could do the bit. So I listened to it and then I just couldn't stop listening to it because it's a legitimately good song by an artist that has fallen from grace, but is great. So my second song is Satellites by Kevin Gates.
Wow.
Yeah.
Throwback.
It's a genuinely fun song. Genuinely fun song. He genuinely sings the hook very well. At first I was like, I can't believe I used to listen to this. Let me listen to it so I could do the bit of having two songs with the same name. I think that's funny. Like and then I started listening to it. I can't stop listening to it. I'm back. I'm back in the Kevin Gates right now. A lot of really, really going on. A lot of two phones.
Don't
May God murder my
This was
children.
a choice.
May
This is
God-
a choice. You don't have to do this.
I don't. I think I do have to do this actually, Purvis. And honestly, I think right now, I think I could start a car battery with my hands. I think I could.
May God murder my children.
Thank God today.
Put my God. May God strike down my children right now. Don't say that. Why would you
Strike them
say
down dead right now.
Bro hates his kids.
But yeah, so that was my bit. Just two songs, same title. Thought it was funny.
that? Oh, there's so many memes of Kevin Gates. Oh my God.
Remember when he kicked that
Okay.
lady? Like,
My second one, I'm simply doing this because hot take, maybe not hot take. This is Kendrick Lamar's best feature ever. Pusha T Nostalgia. Bangs.
Have you ever seen a dead body?
Bangs. So good. So good.
I've been dying
Phenomenal.
for more
Top tier art.
K. Pusha T crossover.
With the Drake hate, it's coming.
It's gotta
Feature?
come. Gotta come. I stand by the fact that I want him on a track. I want Pusha T. I want Kendrick Lamar. I want Freddie Gibbs. I want Killer Mike. All on that track. Just the grimiest, probably saying wrong things about things, but still very good. Probably smells like good cigar smoke.
Not as wrong as Kanye, so
No, nowhere near as wrong as Kanye. Important context.
Yeah. Alrighty. So I am gonna take you guys back all the way to 2005.
Let's go.
By a little known artist called Mike Jones. I'm going with Flossin' by Mike Jones featuring Big Mo.
Someone give me my and ones and huge basketball shorts.
Yeah, I need my I need my big basketball shorts and ones right now.
This is a classic Mike Jones song. It is probably one of his best songs.
We should go make a street basketball mixtape. We should do that.
Oh yeah,
incredible.
The four of us should go out and make an Unpaid Nobody street basketball tape to songs we love that do not fit the vibe of street basketball, like Lost by Frank Ocean.
It's just the entire soundtrack to NBA Jam 2006.
Yep.
God.
I don't like this.
Jasper, finish us up. Finish it off now.
It's too nostalgic. Help.
I don't like this.
I have been in, Frank Ocean's been there. I've been on the sad boy music a little bit lately, and
there's nothing wrong with that. That's okay.
I've been missing Avicii lately.
R.I.P.
I'm going The Nights, which is like one of his later. I want to say later, but like past the true era hit singles that is even more relevant now that he is no longer with us.
That's a good one. That was a good deep cut. I appreciate that.
That is
a good closer.
All right. Well, you, ladies and gentlemen, will have more of us before we're even gone for very long. So I'm just going to end the podcast right now.